Meanwhile, during the search, Allison decides to take a break, and as Max and John leave her behind, she manages to spot Cole and Phoebe. Allison confronts Cole and Phoebe with a gun, and Cole pleads with her, offering to help her achieve her dream of becoming a famous journalist, a goal she had before joining the blood cult. He reminds her that her ambition isn't worth sacrificing her life for the cult's plans. However, in the middle of their confrontation, Allison fires the gun, and the bullet hits her chest, giving Cole and Phoebe a chance to escape. During the pursuit, the teenagers slide down a narrow wedge between rocks, and Allison tries to follow them but becomes trapped in a crevasse. Allison calls for help while wildly shooting her gun. Cole and Phoebe attempt to pull her free, but in doing so, they accidentally rip her body from her head. Just then, Max suddenly appears and attacks them with an axe, and after a tense struggle, the teens manage to fend him off and run to a boat docked nearby. The boat requires a code to start, and they frantically try to guess, and just then, the boat's owner appears. Cole and Phoebe beg him for the code, but suddenly, Max kills him from behind. Cole has a sudden flash of inspiration from a memory involving an old song and successfully cracks the boat's code. They start the engine, but Max grabs onto a raft attached to the back and pulls himself on board. Phoebe grabs a can of silly string and a lighter from her bag, and when Max gets closer, she sets Max on fire, but even as he burns, he remains relentless. In a final effort, Cole activates the boat's propeller, and when Max falls into the water, the spinning blades brutally shred him to pieces. Nearby, John witnesses the horrific event in shock, and moments later, Melanie, Jimmy, and Diego arrive at the dock. John explains what just happened, and seeing the futility of the situation, Diego and Jimmy decide to back down and leave the cult. However, when they try to walk away, they supernaturally disintegrate, revealing that no one can escape the deal they made with the devil. Melanie then calls Archie and Juan, faking to be drunk, and asks them to come pick her up at the lake, hoping to use them to lure Cole out of hiding. Meanwhile, Cole and Phoebe make their way to the cabin, which turns out to be Phoebe's family's old retreat. Following the cryptic messages and clues that led her there, she hopes they can wait out the night and survive. Phoebe leads Cole to a cellar, where she shows him the stuffed animal she found in her locker. She tells him she lost it when she was 6, but it mysteriously returned with the cabin key and fortune. She blames herself for the car accident that killed her parents because she made them drive to the lake to retrieve the bunny after she left it behind. Cole comforts her, reassuring her that it wasn't her fault, and as their bond deepens, they eventually make love in the cabin's cellar. Meanwhile, Archie and Juan arrive at the lake, where Melanie and John are waiting for them, and pretending to need their help, Melanie manipulates Archie and Juan into going with her to the cabin. Inside, Cole and Phoebe hear the group upstairs, and Archie demands that they come out, but Phoebe quickly realizes that Melanie is using Cole's father and neighbor as bait. Recognizing the danger, Phoebe finds the code to her father's weapon safe on the back of the fortune, and they arm themselves with weapons before leaving the cellar.
Take a breath, okay?
Calm down.
Cole tries to attack John, but John swings a sword in retaliation, but inadvertently cuts down an antler chandelier that kills him. Phoebe tries to attack Melanie with a machete, but Melanie skillfully catches the weapon, and both teens flee outside with Archie going after them. Juan tries to reason with Melanie and insists on taking her home, but she mercilessly turns on him, striking him down with the machete. As Cole and Phoebe run, Cole tells Phoebe to keep going while he stays back to face his father. Archie catches up to Cole and appeals to him, trying to convince him to abandon this fantasy. Despite Cole's desperate attempts to explain the truth, Archie sees his son's condition as paranoia and sedates him with an injection. Back at the lake, Melanie tracks down Phoebe and a fierce fight ensues. Phoebe gains the upper hand through her resourcefulness, but the tables turn when Melanie managed to capture Phoebe at knife point, so she can use her as bait. While driving home, Archie stops at a gas station to get gas, and a car alarm rouses the unconscious Cole who is in the car. After gaining enough strength, Cole locks Archie out of the car and tells his father that he has made a promise to find Phoebe and drives back to the lake to save her. With Phoebe tied up, Melanie calls Cole and tells him the location he can meet them, which has been set up for the final satanic ritual. In the cove where Melanie holds Phoebe hostage, Cole shows up shortly and volunteers to be sacrificed and tells Melanie to release Phoebe. Suddenly, a lady emerges from the lake which turns out to be Phoebe's babysitter, who was responsible for the car accident that killed her parents. Phoebe is shocked to see Bee alive, as she was the only one who survived the car accident that killed her parents. As Phoebe processes the revelation, Melanie begins the final ritual, extracting Cole's blood, and suddenly, Sonia, Allison, Max, and John are resurrected once more to complete the satanic pact. Melanie mixes Cole's blood with Boom Boom's as required, and one by one, the cult members drink the concoction, expecting their dark wishes to be granted. However, since Cole had slept with Phoebe, he is no longer innocent, rendering the ritual invalid. The consequences are immediate and catastrophic. The 5 cult members violently convulse, their bodies breaking apart before melting and ultimately disintegrating into ash. After freeing Phoebe, Bee admits she orchestrated the night's events to unite Cole and Phoebe and to put an end to the satanic blood cult once and for all. Bee explains that while in the hospital after the car accident, she made a pact with the devil to save Phoebe's life. However, the cost of her soul and the aftermath of her choices haunted her ever since. Bee turns to Cole, thanking him for saving her soul 2 years ago by helping her rediscover her humanity, even if she was still tethered to demonic powers. Understanding the consequences of her continued existence, Bee willingly drinks the tainted blood, knowing it will destroy her. With a calm resolve, she tells Cole and Phoebe to live their lives fully before she disintegrates into ash, finding peace in her final act of redemption. Archie, who arrives just in time to witness Bee's sacrifice, is left speechless, and he finally understands that Cole had been telling the truth all along about the blood cult and everything he endured. As the sun begins to rise, Cole and Phoebe share a heartfelt kiss while Archie looks on proudly, finally recognizing his son's courage and maturity. Although Cole creates a life of normalcy by returning to school and pretending nothing out of the ordinary ever happened, and the movie concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about The Babysitter, Killer Queen from 2020. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.